in Lees-Galloway.
Mr Speaker, there are, I accept, two schools of thought on student association membership. One is that when you choose to attend a particular institution, whether it be a university or a polytechnic or anywhere where there is a compulsory or universal student association, that by making the choice to attend that institution, you then become a member of the student association in the same way that you would by deciding to live in a particular town and have to pay rates and have everything that goes with being a ratepayer in that area. That's one school of thought. The other school of thought is that student associations are more like unions or professional bodies, and that your membership to those should be voluntary. I actually think, Mr Speaker, that both of those points of view and both of those schools of thought have merit. I don't think actually that one is more correct than the other. And in fact, the status quo allows for both of those situations to exist at a particular university or a particular tertiary institution. If the students decide that they want their student association to be a universal one, they can choose that. If they decide that they want their student association to be a voluntary one, they can choose that. So whichever side of the divide you stand on, whatever your view is on membership of a student association, there is actually a mechanism in the current law to make that happen. All you have to do, if you want to create change...
Order.
Sorry. Well, Mr Speaker, you could if you were in this position.
Order.
All a student would need to do, if they wanted to change the status quo at their particular tertiary institution, is to get 10% of their fellow students, have a referendum and convince more than half the people who vote to their own point of view. It's not that difficult. It happened at Auckland. They decided to go voluntary. It happened at Waikato. They decided to go voluntary. Then they changed their mind. They saw the folly of that. They realised it wasn't working out, and so they went back to universal. The question was asked at Massey University. They decided to stay with universal. So the status quo actually allows for both schools of thought to coexist. But even, Mr Speaker, even if we were to decide that we have to force the point of view that student association must be voluntary, this bill is not the way to do it. There was a simple mechanism that could have actually given student associations the opportunity to survive and for voluntary membership to be imposed on all student associations as well. And that was to have an opt-out clause, whereby potential students, future students signing up for their first year are automatically enrolled in the same way that we automatically enrol people into KiwiSaver. We do this in the workplace. We automatically enrol people into KiwiSaver, and then should they choose that that is not what they want to do, they can opt out. That is the mechanism by which Heather Roy could have achieved what she says this bill is about. But that is actually what gives the lie to Heather Roy's motivation behind this bill, because this bill is specifically designed to weaken and destroy student associations. There was a mechanism by which she could have achieved voluntary student membership, but that is what this bill is actually about. It is actually making the environment as difficult as possible for student associations to recruit new members. How can you honestly expect... Tim McIndoe is asking, how is it difficult? I will answer Tim McIndoe's question. The answer is simple. You are asking young people, the government is asking young people, before they actually arrive at university or polytechnic or wānanga or the private training establishment, whatever it is that they're going to study at, to decide before they get there whether or not they think membership of a student association is a good thing. They have no idea what the student association does before they get to the... No, I completely disagree with you. It's not a question of whether or not you're bright enough, Mr McIndoe. It is a question of whether or not the information is available. And it is ludicrous to expect student associations to make the information about what they actually offer available to every single potential student in the country. That is absolutely ludicrous. On the meagre resources that student associations have available to them, they should not have to market themselves to every 17-year-old in the country. The universities already waste, in my opinion, millions of dollars marketing themselves to every 17-year-old in the country. Why should the student associations have to follow suit? There's absolutely no good reason why they should. So the easy answer would be you have an opt-out mechanism. They're automatically enrolled. No, they're automatically enrolled, and then they have the freedom of choice, which this government bangs on about so much. They have the freedom of choice to opt out at any time that they want to. If they arrive at the university, if they arrive at the tertiary institution, they decide they don't want their subsidised gym membership, they don't want the advocacy service, they don't want the representation that is on offer, they can walk away, they can get their fee back. It's a very, very simple answer, but that would ensure that the student associations had the ability to offer their services to the new students before they had to make the choice about whether or not they would be a member. But I'll tell you what, here's another example right here in the bill about why this bill is more about destroying student associations than it is about giving students choice. Because Heather Roy and Louise Upston and various other speakers have all stood up and said, oh, well, the student association has to offer services that are relevant to the students, and if those services are good, then they will choose to join the association. The only problem is, in Clause 6, the bill says a person who is not a member of a students' association may not be required to pay a representation fee to that association for any services that the association provides generally to the institution's student body. In other words, there is legislated freeloading here in the bill. Even if you are not a member of the student association, it is legislated that you get to receive every single one of the services that the student association offers. So there's absolutely no reason whatsoever to join the student association. The student association could have the best services. It could have all the reasons why students should want to be a member, but why would you bother paying the additional fee if you got all the services anyway? And that is legislated right here in the bill. This is not about student choice at all. This is about weakening and destroying one of the most powerful and influential political forces that has existed throughout the history of New Zealand. Student associations in New Zealand have had a voice for students. They have had a voice for students. They have created change. Laws have been passed in this Parliament as a result of lobbying by student associations on behalf of their members. And that is what this is all about. It is about destroying and weakening the voice that students have through their student associations. And ultimately, what this is actually really going to mean for students is increased costs. We know that because the services that the student associations do provide, the universities know that they are going to have to step in. And the universities will not be able to do it at the cost level that the student associations are able to do it at. And furthermore, the students ultimately, should they choose to, have a say in how their student association fee is spent. They can go to a general meeting, they can raise issues, they can elect the council, they can elect the executive that they want to be running their student association. If you take that out of their hands, give it to the tertiary institution, then the students will have to pay, but they will have no say. That is the fact of this bill. It takes away their voice, it weakens their representation, and it increases their costs. Mr. Speaker, this bill is not about student choice. Let's be honest about what this bill is about. It is about taking away a representative voice for students that has had political influence over the years. The National Party don't like it, the ACT Party don't like it, but I tell you what, the Labour Party thinks students should have that voice, and when we're in government, we will give them that voice back.
Joe Goodhue,